Hood to Coast. Hood to Coast is a long-distance relay race that starts at Mount Hood and continues nearly 200 miles to the Oregon coast. Known as the mother of all relays, it is the largest running and walking relay in the world, with 12,600 runners in the Hood to Coast relay and 19,000 total participants, including spin-off events like the Portland to Coast Walk and Portland to Coast Challenge Run Relay. Founded in 1982, Hood to Coast is extremely popular and has filled its team limit for the past 30 years, most of the time on opening day of the entrance lottery. The race is held annually in late August, traditionally on the Friday and Saturday before the Labor Day weekend. The course runs approximately 320 kilometers. The course length changes by 15 km each year due to small changes made by race organizers from Timberline Lodge on the slopes of Mount Hood, the tallest peak in Oregon, through the Portland metropolitan area, and over the Oregon Coast Range to the beach town of Seaside on the Oregon coast. Teams of 12 runners take turns running legs along the course. Walking and running teams may choose to compete in the Portland to Coast Walk or Portland to Coast Challenge respectively, both of which are held in conjunction with the main Hood to Coast relay in Starwood near downtown Portland instead of Mount Hood. History. The relay was founded by Bob Foote, who was president of the Oregon Road Runners Club and an ultramarathon runner. The first relay in 1982 drew 8 teams that ran 165 miles from Timberline to Kiwanda Beach near Pacific City, Oregon. The relay grew rapidly to over 400 teams by 1986. In 1989, the finish area was moved to Seaside, where it remains today. Cancer research and fundraising has long been part of the event. Over the past 6 years alone, the race has raised nearly $6 million for the Providence Cancer Institute, making it the second largest road race cancer fundraising program in the nation. In 2006, Felicia Haber joined the organization to oversee race logistics as race director and chairperson, overseeing the long-term vision and Hood to Coast mission moving forward. In 2019, the Hood and Portland to Coast Relays and HTC Race Series became a certified B Corporation. Additional events. Hood to Coast hosts several one-day relays as well, with HTC Cape Lookout, HTC Seabrook, and HTC High Desert, Central Oregon. Hood to Coast went international in 2016 and annually hosts Hood to Coast China, or H2C China, in conjunction with Yao Ming's company, Star Sports. Each summer, Chinese, American, and other international runners in HTC China limited to 400 teams start on the mountain at Taiwu ski resort site of the 2022 Winter Olympics and traverse a mountainous course to its destination 110 miles later in Zhangjiakou. Additional annual international HTC events include Hood to Coast Taiwan, Hood to Coast Israel, and Hood to Coast Hainan. Teams. Open to all interested competitors, but limited to 10, 50, 12-person teams. Hood to Coast has filled its limit for 30 consecutive years and on opening day for the past 23 straight years. Teams each year are chosen by lottery from entries postmarked on opening day of registration, first Wednesday of October. The Portland to Coast Walk and Challenge relays are limited to 450 teams respectively. Entries are accepted on a first-come, first-served basis until all spaces are filled. Course. The 320 kilometers Hood to Coast course consists of 36 legs. Each team member runs 3 in rotation. The course is run primarily on paved roads and multi-use off-street trails, with small portions of the course on sidewalks and gravel roads. The legs vary in length from 5.4 kilometers to 12.5 km. Some legs are virtually flat, and others descend and slash or ascend steep mountainous hills. Consequently, a runner or walker may total between 21.9 kilometers and 31.7 kilometers. Teams in a full Hood to Coast relay must complete the course within a 36-hour time limit. Teams start on Friday between 3:00 am and 2:00 p.m. in staggered waves of approximately 15 teams every 5 minutes. Teams are seeded based on previous race pace times extrapolated based on a specific deterioration factor at over 3 legs. taking into account additional factors for each team's submitted roster. Thus, the flow of teams through the 35 exchange points and finish line remains relatively smooth, with all teams finishing the race by the closing time of 9 p.m. on Saturday. The course starts at Timberline Lodge at the 6,000-foot level of Mount Hood and proceeds down Timberline Road to Government Camp. This first leg drops 2,000 foot in elevation over about 6 miles. The next 2 legs from Government Camp to Rhododendron have a combined elevation drop of 2,300 foot over about 10 miles. Runners proceed west along U.S. Route 26 to the towns of Sandy and Gresham, where the route proceeds along the Springwater Corridor Trail to the Selwood neighborhood in southeast Portland. The route then proceeds north along the paved Springwater/Willamette River Trail and crosses the Tillicum Crossing Bridge west into downtown Portland. After going over the Tillicum Crossing Bridge, runners proceed north along NATO Parkway in downtown Portland along the west bank of the Willamette River and onto U.S. Route 30 to Street Helens. From there onward, the route passes through hilly rural and sometimes unpaved backroads through the forested communities of Mist and Birkenfeld on the way to the beach finish line party in Seaside. The Portland to Coast Walk and Challenge Run relay follow the last 24 legs, 130 miles of the course, starting from the Tillicum Crossing Bridge in downtown Portland. Each participant in these relays walk or run 2 legs in rotation. Logistics and atmosphere. Each 12-person team is allowed 2 vehicles no larger than a standard-sized van. While the vans generally follow the race course in support of their runners, certain narrower portions of the course require 1 van to make a predetermined detour route to alleviate traffic congestion. Teams typically give themselves funny or original names and decorate their vehicles according to a theme. Teams are expected to provide their own provisions. Local schools, granges and churches along the route provide sleeping areas, food, and showers to participants as fundraisers. Teams compete in divisions based on gender: women's, men's, and mixed age based on the age of the youngest participant or corporate. At the finish festivities and the sprawling beach party, photos, finisher/place medals are given to the top 6 teams in each category, along with food/beverage and live musical entertainment throughout the day and evening. All teams that include at least 1 member living within a 100 miles radius of Portland are required to provide 3 volunteers to ensure adequate personnel attends and exchanges along the 200-mile race course. Media. The race was the subject of the 2011 film Hood to Coast, directed by Christoph Baden. The film chronicles 4 teams, their backstory, and inspiration for running while watching their heartfelt experiences in the race.